It's about like 15 seconds. What's going on with everybody, bro? Welcome back to another stream, man. You know, yesterday I did a video going over a tier list, Mark Cucurella, a few other things in that video. Go ahead if you check it out. If you haven't, you know, we're seeing a lot of stuff right now about Morgan Rogers being linked to a move to Chelsea, bro. And like, I got a few things to really say on that. On top of Enzo Maresca, Man City having to pay compensation to Chelsea for the way that his appointment happened, given that Enzo Maresca left Chelsea in January, and the way that he did it, I don't agree with it, but I wasn't a fan of him leaving. Also, Enzo Fernandez seems like now is getting closer and closer to his move to Real Madrid. And let's just keep it a buck here when it comes to that move. Chelsea have completely mishandled this brother's career at the football club, particularly Blueco, in the way that they've treated him, the way that some of the fans in this fan base have absolutely treated this brother. And you're going to see why when he does go to Real Madrid. You guys are going to see why we're going to end up missing him. A lot of people still want to hate on this brother, saying that we can do better. Go find me a player that this ownership is going to bring in that is going to replace what he does. I'll continue to wait for you guys' answers. I'll continue to wait until you guys actually have a player in mind that can replicate what Enzo is doing under this ownership. If this was Roman Abramovich, I wouldn't have an issue selling Enzo Fernandez at all. But under this ownership, I have a huge issue with him being sold. But before we get into all that, I did a stream yesterday on my lunch where somebody came in and was saying some vile ass disgusting shit in my chat. I'm going to stress this again, and I'm going to continue to stress this. If people are going to come into this into this channel, into this chat, and say some disgusting shit to me and what you're doing, you will be reported and you will be timed out for an eternity, bro. I don't appreciate any of that vile, disgusting shit that you put in my chat yesterday, bro. Like, grow up a little bit, please. Like, it's despicable that people come in here and say they're doing something or they're asking me certain questions and then they're telling me what they're doing. Like, I don't need to hear that. I don't need to see that. I got family watching this. I got people that care about me that watch this kind of stuff. And they're not going to sit here and tolerate people coming into a chat room and saying what you said. Don't do it again, bro. So, getting into the actual footballing part of this stream, I needed to say that because there's just some nasty people on this platform, bro. Getting into the actual footballing parts of this stuff, man. Let's go ahead and take a look at all this shit that's pertaining to Morgan Rogers, bro. I mean, Morgan Rogers, man, is an interesting player. It's a player that I wouldn't mind seeing at the football club, if I'm being real. I wasn't here yesterday. What happened? Somebody came into my chat yesterday, and this is why I don't want people under the age of 18 coming into my chat. He came in here yesterday saying he was getting off to me. That's absolutely fucking disgusting, bro. That is something that I'm not okay with. That is something that I'm not standing for. And this is not the kind of platform that you just come in here and you say stuff like that. Like, I'll go back to my face here if I can actually get it to do that. Like, I'm going to get into the footballing part in a second here, but you cannot come into this chat room and say sexual stuff in this chat, bro. It's absolutely disgusting. This isn't the website for that, and this isn't the platform for that. I'm talking about sports on this channel. I am talking about, at times, I'll talk about a few video game topics that I find interesting. But outside of that, we're not going to sit here and say that you're getting off to somebody in this chat. get the hell out of my chat. Get the hell off my channel. And he got timed out yesterday, and he got reported for saying that. So that's all I'm going to say on it. I'm not cool with people doing stuff like that, because people really need to have some type of self-control, right? But again, let's get back into why I'm on YouTube and why I'm on this channel. So Morgan Rogers, right? There's been a lot of stuff here about Morgan Rogers, man, that I think Chelsea fans really need to relax. And I just think that the people really need to tamper their expectations when it comes to him. I don't think he's coming to Chelsea. I think the lack of European football, honestly, is going to be the reason why he doesn't come to Chelsea at all. But if we're going to go ahead and read a few things here, right? Sources close to Villa expect Chelsea to push again for Rodgers this summer. Chelsea are aware they face stiff competition like Wilcox at United. Chelsea's Joe Shields knows him well. A lot of people do not want Joe Shields at the club anyway. I'm one of those people. You know, you brought Tosin, bro. Lavia. Like, that alone is already enough for me to say, just get the hell out, bro. You need to get sacked as well. Right? Morgan Rogers, he's an interesting player, bro. I think he is a good player. He had a poor run of form in the middle of the season, but picked it up towards the end of the season. Europa League champion, will be playing in the Champions League next season if Aston Villa find a way to keep him. Where do I think he's honestly going? I think he's going to Arsenal, bro. I think it's only a matter of time. Arsenal have the funds. Arsenal have the Champions League. Arsenal are Premier League champions. So I think he's going to end up going to Arsenal. But in a hypothetical world, let's talk about a scenario where he can come to Chelsea, right? Let's keep on reading. Chelsea have long-standing interest in Morgan Rogers, and sources close to Villa expect them to push again. Rogers suits what Chelsea are looking for in the market for a variety of reasons. They view him as a versatile attacker who can play on the left. Now, if you're looking at a guy that can play on the left-hand side, then yeah, go all out for Morgan Rogers. I've said go for what's his name? Leao. I've said go after him. And I've been saying that, and I've been consistent on that for the longest time. Chelsea need to go get a pure left winger. Can Morgan Rogers play on the left? Yes, but this would be one of the most expensive deals you would get done in the transfer window if you go and try to get this brother. Would I want Morgan Rogers at the club? Yes, I think he's a very good player. He's a great free kick taker. He has a good shot on him. He can take a player on. He has good passing range, right? He's physical. This is a player I wouldn't mind having in the squad to compete with Cole Palmer, who can also play off that right-hand side. If you're bringing in Morgan Rogers, you're bringing him in as competition to Cole Palmer at this point. And if you want to play with 2 10s, Morgan Rogers on that left-hand side as that left-sided 10 and Cole Palmer off the right-handed side as that 10, I would be happy with that. But to get Morgan Rogers through the door, you're basically asking for about 100 million. And that's what Aston Villa want. Right? Sources expect Chelsea to push for Morgan Rogers this summer, and Chelsea see him as an ideal fit. Missing out on Europe will not stop Chelsea from competing for Rogers, and sources believe Chelsea will be in a better position to compete after this year. Is that PR? We don't know that, bro. We really don't even know that right now. I mean, my whole stance on this, bro, is that if you're going to actually pay the money for him, then for one, Enzo Fernandez is definitely leaving, because Chelsea don't have the money that Aston Villa want to get this deal done. There will be a Premier League tax, there will be an English tax, and there will be a Chelsea tax, right? You're going to get taxed up the ass to get Morgan Rogers to Chelsea, even for Arsenal, right? Because I'm sure Aston Villa doesn't want to help out Arsenal in terms of repeating as Premier League champions. If they get Morgan Rogers, you might want to kiss that Premier League title goodbye for the rest of the Premier League, because I think he would just upgrade them immensely, and he can play off that left wing. And Ebriechieze would be in a world of trouble. he'll be in a world of trouble. And I don't even think he's had a good season at Arsenal. I think I don't think he's overrated. I think he's had a bad season. I think he'll be better next season. But Eze did not have a good season. If Arsenal signed Morgan Rogers, Eberechi Eze is in a world of trouble. Is in a world of trouble. Right? So realistically, is Morgan Rogers going to come to Chelsea? I think there's like a 15% chance he does, bro. Like, honestly. Like, we don't have the facilities to make this move happen unless you sell a crap ton of players. And there's one player in particular here that has said that he's not going to leave no matter what. I'll get to that player in a second. And I have something to say about this player too. Morgan Rogers would be the premier signing you make if you get the rest of the team, if you get the rest of the players you need in. And then Morgan Rogers would be that last signing that you bring in if you have the transfer funds to actually do it. And will Chelsea have those kind of transfer funds? We don't know that, bro. Like, you got to sell these players, man. They keep on talking about how they have money to spend, but at the end of the day, where is this money coming from? Like, we see the home kit yesterday, and I'm gonna be real, and I said this in my video too. The home kit doesn't look good. The away kit looks nice. The home kit, bro, I'm not a fan of that giant Chelsea logo, bro, in the middle. I'm just not. If you take that off, I may be a fan of it, but I'm not a fan of how it looks. Maybe it'll grow on me during the season, just like every other home kit eventually does. But this one in particular, I have a very strong stance against it, bro. I just feel like Nike just doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to designing kits for this club. Like, they really, really don't, man. And it's embarrassing. And it's even more embarrassing that this club can't get a front of shirt sponsor, bro. It's crazy. But Morgan Rogers, bro, I will say this. If Chelsea find a way, it would be insane. It would actually be nuts that they figured out a way to sign him. And even without Champions League football and missing out on Europe entirely, they found a way. We'll see what happens, bro. I mean, there's also a video here that I wanted to show.
The season is over before it already began. Because this most recent article just single-handedly, in one fell swoop, killed all my anticipation for this season for Chelsea. Simon Johnston released an article for The Athletic, and he talks about what some of the transfer dealings for Chelsea might be this summer, and it's disappointing. Tosin is staying. Apparently he's valued for his leadership, even though he's, 27? Hasn't won anything major, hasn't played for any major clubs. Lavia is not leaving either, even though clubs are actually interested in him, despite the fact that the guy barely plays and hasn't progressed as a player since arriving. We're going to be looking to sell a striker, and it's going to be either Liam Delap or Nicholas Jackson. Finally, it looks like our main target this summer is going to be Morgan Rogers, a player that I do not rate, because I think he's lacking serious skills at both the left wing and number 10 positions, is wildly inconsistent, and would cost us north of £80 million. But why am I showing these guys in Manchester City kits? Well, it's because Joe Shields, our co-director of recruitment and talent, the man that is cited to be responsible for the squad planning for Chelsea Football Club, is the cronyism king. This is him working for Manchester City. He's also the same guy who was very closely connected with Kinetic Academy at the beginning of his career as a scout and helped bring in Callum McFarlane to Chelsea Football Club. He became a 2-time interim manager despite not even having his UEFA A license. Bringing in Harry Hudson, ex-Kinetic, U21's head coach now, and part of McFarlane's interim staff. Bringing in Dan Hogan, ex-Kinetic, U18's head coach, and was also part of McFarlane's interim staff. While backdooring and demoting guys like Hassan Suleiman, who have been here for decades and have the UEFA Pro license. He is why Manchester City Academy graduates like Tosin Adarabioyo, Romeo Lavia get a free ride. Why guys like Liam Delap get recruited in the first place. Joe Shields, Bektat Igbali, Paul Winstanley, Lauren Stewart, you guys can send as many journalists as you like to come after me and say that my videos about Joe Shields' connections to the Kinetic Academy and the weird trend of bringing in ex-Manchester City graduates, ex-Kinetic Academy coaches. You can call that a conspiracy all that you like, but all of
And it's not a conspiracy. I mean, just check out their recruitment. Just like he said, Liam Delap, Romeo Lavia, Tosin, bro. I mean, like, what are we doing? The fact that you see something come out about Tosin is being kept because of his leadership qualities. What leadership qualities does he have, man? Part of being a leader is how you play on the pitch, and we've all seen what Tosin can do on the pitch. He's a mistake waiting to happen. One of the most famous quotes I've heard when it comes to mistakes is from Stephen A. Smith, right? He talks about the Dallas Cowboys and how they're an accident waiting to happen. Tosin is an accident waiting to happen, bro. Wesley Fofana is an accident waiting to happen. Malo Gusto is the same thing. Liam Delap is an accident waiting to happen, bro. Alejandro Garnacho is an accident waiting to happen, bro. I mean, it's crazy, dude. The type of recruitment that we're having at this club. And I've been speaking on this before I started YouTube. I spoke on this in 2023. I used to do a podcast where I was speaking about the recruitment that this ownership has had since they've walked in, and it's been poor, right? When Todd Bowley first came in, right? He was trying to sign experienced players for Thomas Tuchel, bringing in Raheem Sterling, Aubameyang, Koulibaly, all these players, right? But you overpaid them. They were well past their prime, but Aubameyang is playing very well up in France right now. But outside of that, the recruitment since they've come in has been absolutely dreadful. And this is why we need to tamper our expectations on which players come in. I keep on saying what players I would bring in, not what I think the club is going to bring in. Who I want to see come into the club is an elite striker, is an elite left winger, an established center half, another creative number 8, a defensive midfielder, another left back, an elite goalkeeper. Like, this is what I would do. But is the club going to realistically go get these kind of players? No, because they want to buy young with players with potential. That's what they want, and it's sad.
this is in plain sight. And you can tell people to not believe what they see or not believe what they hear for so long before people catch on to your shenanigans. Another thing that really made me laugh while reading this article was Simon Johnson writes, by giving him the job title of manager rather than head coach like his predecessors, Alonso is going to be more involved. That is not to say that he's been given the keys to make all the decisions either, nor that previous head coaches had no say in recruitment.
Then you also have to ask like the question, why was he so quick to take the job then? Is it because of the amount of money he's making per year? Is it because he was given certain promises of players that he's able to recommend, but the ownership has the final say on what players come in? This is why you're going to be seeing players like what age 19, 20, and 21 years old be linked to the club, and those are the players that Chelsea are going to end up signing. Like, the replacement for Enzo Fernandez is Barco, bro. We're not going to sit here and go get an established number 8 that can play box to box and do what Enzo Fernandez has done since he's gotten to the club, particularly this season.
It feels like Chelsea trying to have their cake and eat it too. Oh, Alonso, we're going to give him more power than in the past. But he's not going to make all the decisions. But managers in the past also had a say too. Which is it? The comment as well about a gentle inquiry for Ibrahimo Konate. What do you want?
And now he's set to go to Real Madrid on a free transfer. Real Madrid also signed Dumfries from Inter Milan. Do you guys remember when we were linked with him as competition to Reece James? They would never go after a player like that for 20 to 25 million for Denzel Dumfries. That's a bargain, dude. That is a freaking bargain.
Want a little gold star? Hey, Ibrahima, you willing to come to us and take a pay cut? No? Okay. Yeah, I'm not giving you points for that. Same way that you guys apparently inquired about Van Dijk last season. Yeah, right. Hey, Virgil, you willing to come to a team that didn't win the title for less money? No? Okay.
Virgil van Dijk's on 400K a week. You think he's taking that kind of pay cut to come to Chelsea? He would have to be making at least 180 grand a week, bro. That's not happening.
But you know what? Shame on me. Shame on the fans. Because what were we expecting when nothing changed? The sporting leadership has remained completely intact. All the directors, all the recruitment staff, it's all the exact same. So why would we expect anything different? Winstanley, Shields, Stewart, Jewell, they all gotta go. And if they're not getting fired, then Igbali, Feliciano, they gotta go too. But what do you guys think? What are your expectations for this season? I'm saying it's not looking good.
So let's go ahead and take a deep dive realistically on this. All right, let me go full screen for this shit, bro. So, like I've said, the expectations that people need to have for next season need to be tampered very, very low because regardless of the manager, regardless of who has been appointed, the ownership is still here, right? And I've been consistent with this for the longest time, and there's been a lot of people out there that are saying there's a glimmer of hope with a new manager. Let's have our expectations even higher because Xabi Alonso has come in, right? I've had this on for the better part now of 3 months, right? This message, but I've been on screen, but I've been saying this for the longest time. They need to get out, bro. It doesn't really matter what they do in the summer transfer window. Doesn't matter what Xabi Alonso does. These guys need to get out. This message right here, I've been consistent with it. And I'm 5,000 miles away from where the head of the circus really is. And I've been a fan of this club for 25 fucking years, bro. There's no excuse for this club to be this down in the mud right now. There's no excuse for it. The gaslighting, the PR bullshit that is being continued to be fed down our throats, bro, needs to be stopped. And the perfect example of what a club looks like when it takes accountability for a poor season, look at what AC Milan did. Sacked their CEO, sacked the manager, sacked the sporting director, and sacked the technical director. Why? Because they missed out on Champions League football on the final day of the season, and that was deemed not good enough for a club size of AC Milan, a European powerhouse, a club that's won 7 Champions Leagues, right? A team like that is in and out of those European spots year in, year out. The fans finally had enough, and Redbird Empire, I think is the name of the ownership group, has had enough. And they sacked those 4 individuals because of a poor season. Finishing 5th in Serie A is not a good season. It's not. And Serie A is not the best league in the world, but it's one of those leagues where any team can go in there in the top 6 and go win it. Inter Milan is going to continuously win it because at least with them, they have the structure in place. And I forgot which ownership group came in and fixed them around, got rid of the owners there, got rid of the sporting directors there, and completely turned the ship around. Now they're year in, year out in the Champions League, year in, year out, getting to the knockout rounds of the Champions League, winning the Scudetto, winning silverware because the fans finally had enough. The fact that not a Project CFC sat there and canceled the protest and said, for right now, we're going to wait to see what we're going to wait to see. Thoughts on the Mbappe links? I'll get to that in a second, brother. The fact that they sat there and got rid of everybody, that's what a serious club does. AC Milan is a serious club because they got rid of the player. They got rid of the people that were running that shit into the ground. They should now be getting on their hands and knees to bring in back Paolo Maldini as at least one of the directors at the club and get the proper manager in that can bring AC Milan back to their glory days. Because we all remember what AC Milan was doing in the mid 2000s and the early 2010s. But I'll read this comment here. Thoughts on the Mbappe links, bro? I mean, honestly, it's just blowing smoke up our ass. Like, would I want Kylian Mbappe here? Of course, I would want that brother here, bro. He's one of the best players in the world. But to get him, you're gonna need to pay. You're gonna have to break the wage structure. You're gonna have to do more by giving up a lot of more power to his imaging rights. Because at Real Madrid right now, he's making at least 70 to 80% of his imaging rights. Right? I think he's on like 600 grand a week, bro. Like, Chelsea are not going to go anywhere near that. The only way that happens is if he takes a massive pay cut and he wants to play in the Premier League and he wants that type of challenge and trying to bring Chelsea back to the top of the Premier League. That's how I feel about it. But if he were to do that and there's a deal to be done and you send Enzo the other way and you give them about 100 million, which is where is that 100 million even coming from at that point, right? Then I would say, fuck it, go get Kylian Mbappe. But realistically, Kylian Mbappe, in my opinion, is stuck in Real Madrid, bro. I think he is. Blue Co are billionaires though. No, but they're billionaires in debt. Like, they've spent so much money on bullshit, bro, that there's nothing to spend. Getting Kylian Mbappe, if you were to send Enzo Fernandez, like I said, in about 100 million, 120 million there, you may be able to get the deal done, but he's still gonna want about 400 to 500,000 a week in wages, bro. And this club has shown that they're not gonna pay anybody that. Like, when you're paying players like Wesley Fofana 200 grand a week, bro, and Enzo Fernandez is just asking for a pay raise in his contract, and he can't get that. That's a problem, bro. Wesley Fofana does not deserve 200 grand a week, bro. Like, let's keep it a buck here. Does anybody really think that he deserves 200 grand a week? He's been a shit show since he's got here. He's been horrific. Kylian Mbappe would be the absolute dream signing for just about every single Chelsea fan, babe. Chelsea fans know that there's no shot in hell that he would come here. If Chelsea were in the Champions League and they had just won the Premier League title and they make an approach for him, you never really know. But again, if this was Roman Abramovich, is Chelsea, he would probably just say, fuck it. I want him. I'm gonna do everything I can to go get him. But under this ownership, it's not happening, bro. It's just not happening. They could have got him on a free transfer, but he was so set on going to Real Madrid that no other club stood a chance. If you're going to do a straight cash deal for Kylian Mbappe, you're talking about 200. You're breaking the world transfer record. Honestly, I would keep Pedro as a starting striker, but would take Mbappe if available. I mean, if he's available, but I don't think he's made it clear that he wants to leave. I've always said this about the Real Madrid's situation, bro. They need to make a decision on Vinny Jr. and Kylian Mbappe because they both play in the same position. And in my opinion, Kylian Mbappe is not a striker, bro. He's a left winger that is being forced to play as the 9 because Vinny Jr. is there. If Kylian Mbappe was at any other club, bro, if Kylian Mbappe was at any other club, he is their starting left winger. In my opinion, if we were to sign Kylian Mbappe, I would put him out there on the left wing because that's what he plays. That's where he's best at. He's not best with his back to goal, in my opinion. I've seen too many games where he has his back to goal and he doesn't know what to do with it. If he's out there on the left-hand side and he's able to drive at these fullbacks, he's a lot more dangerous and he's a lot more lethal. Then you said something about Jackson is happy to stay, but he wants to start over João Pedro. I don't think he would start over João Pedro, but I would want Nico Jackson back. I've been consistent with that. Nico Jackson would have helped out Chelsea a lot more this past season than Liam Delap, obviously, because Liam Delap has been horrific, bro. He's more worried about being a WWE superstar than he is a professional footballer, bro. Like, you can't have somebody like that in the squad. Nico Jackson missed a lot of big chances. Sure, I understand that. But what he did on the pitch, Nico Jackson was the guy that led the press when he was at the club. And this is why Chelsea were a lot more dangerous on the attack in the 2 seasons he was there, because he was able to lead the press. Cole Palmer was able to play his game a lot more. I'm not saying João Pedro can't complement Cole Palmer, but if you had a front two of Nico Jackson and João Pedro, that would have been a lot better. And Cole Palmer just in behind, you would have had a lot more of a vicious attack going forward than having just João Pedro being stagnant up front, just waiting for balls to come into the box. And this club and this team wasn't putting crosses into the box nearly enough. João Pedro wasn't missing big chances. He was putting those away. Nico Jackson, the only thing I want him to fix is the discipline on the pitch and being able to be clinical in front of goal. If he's able to fix those two things, Nico Jackson is a very good striker to have in your team. A very good striker. He's still young. What are we saying here? I agree. Who should we sign for the defense, and tell me who should be the starting defenders, including the goalkeeper? So if I'm running this club, right? Reece James, for me, if you're doing a back three, Levi Colwell, and who I would sign, Bastoni as the left side of center half, and at right center half, for me, honestly, I want to see Josh Achiampong, bro. Like, I want to see him play. Like, I'm getting tired of playing Tosin and Fofana and Batty. Like, no, like, those guys need to go. Josh needs game time, and he needs to get that experience. But if you're talking about putting experience in there, for me, I wouldn't mind seeing Reece James play at right center half, bro. I would not mind that at all. If I had a back three of Reece James, Levi Colwell, and Bastoni, I would be cool with that. I would be absolutely cool with that, because if Alonso is gonna play with the wing back roles, I don't want to see Reece James play as a wing back, bro, because he's shown that he's not able, especially running up and down the pitch. He's susceptible to those hamstrings being torn up, bro. I'd rather see him play either as that defensive midfielder or as a right center half, right? I'd rather see him as that right center half that is able to push up a little bit and break up play, but also be solid defensively. That's what I would love to see Reece James do, because I feel like going forward, he can't be that right fullback anymore or that right wing back. He just can't do it anymore because his legs aren't going to allow it. And for goalkeeper, I like Robert Sanchez. I think he's had a decent season only because the first part of the season, he was commanding, he was vocal, he was a leader back there. But once Liam Rosenior came in and he benched him for Flip Jorgensen, that's when his form dipped. But if I'm going out there to go get a goalkeeper, there's only two goalkeepers I have in mind. Mike Mignon, or if you really want to pay the money, a Diego Costa at Porto. That's who I would go get. That's just me, right? But who would you go and get? Like, tell me your back line and your starting goalkeeper. That who would you go get, bro? Right? I'm gonna go ahead and go over to my next story while you go ahead and shoot that to me. So I do want to touch on Enzo real quick. Not really much to speak on here. I mean, Bastoni, bro, would be an immense signing. That would tell me that the ownership in a way is like, okay, we do need somebody back here that is a monster, that is commanding and is able to get the players in the back line better and can help the goalkeeper out. Because if Robert Sanchez is the number one goalkeeper next season, you need a commanding center half back there to help him out. Right? Levi Colwell is good, right? He's good, but he needs somebody next to him. And realistically, we've seen the links with what's his name? Marquinhos, right? If you're able to get Marquinhos somehow, I would be okay with I would be happy as hell with that. Why? Not only can he play center half, he can slide up into that number 6 role that I feel like we actually need. And you can push Caicedo up into that number 8. alongside whoever is next to him. If Enzo leaves, you got Barco. If Enzo leaves and you have the money to spend, go get Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle and have Caicedo, Marquinhos, and Caicedo in your midfield, right? And then you have Bastoni, you have Levi Colwell, and you have Reece James. I'm speaking with copium right now, right? I'm speaking hypothetically on what I would want to see here. Do I think this club is going to realistically go after players like a Marquinhos, like Bastoni? No, because they haven't shown that they want to go get any kind of experience, bro. Like they just have not. So that's what I would do. But they're not going to do that because they want to penny pinch on these players and they want to flip these young players into a transfer profit at the end of the day. I've said this a few months ago. Chelsea is turning into a player factory, just like Ajax, just like Borussia Dortmund, bro. Like, in those two clubs are Ajax and recently have been horrific. I think they finished fifth in the Dutch league. I'm not used to saying that about Ajax. Like, Ajax used to be year in, year out in the Champions League, going toe to toe with a PSV in the Dutch league. Now they're sitting fifth. They've fallen off from grace big time. But Chelsea is turning into a player factory where the bigger clubs are able to come in, like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man City, are going to come in. Bayern Munich are going to come in and just start plucking players out. That's not what Chelsea should be. And it's not what I grew up watching this club being. Chelsea Football Club, when I was growing up, was able to attract the best players in the world, not the greatest players in the world, but some of the best players in the world, and get them to come play in the Premier League and have a shot of winning the Premier League, have a shot at winning the FA Cup and the League Cup and the Champions League. That's not what I'm used to. I would go for Trafford, but he's not getting a game at Man City. You know who else I would go for as a goalkeeper, bro? Jordan Pickford. I think he would be an upgrade over Sanchez, in my opinion. I think Jordan Pickford would be honestly a shrewd signing, but I don't think Chelsea will go anywhere near that. But it's like I said, bro. See, that's what I'm scared of. What are you scared of, bro? Let me go ahead and read this about Enzo real quick, and I'll get back to your comment real quick, bro. So, supposedly, Real Madrid have reached an agreement in principle to sign the 120 million euro Chelsea star, with Jose Mourinho set to play a key role in the deal if he officially returns to the Bernabeu. I think it's already been confirmed that he is, but Chelsea are still holding firm on the valuation, but talks are expected to accelerate once Madrid's presidential situation is resolved. So the thing about Enzo Fernandez that I'm really starting to wonder here, and there's another thing here I want to touch on when it comes to him, this story right here. So his agent, Pastore, has asked Chelsea to clarify his client's future ahead of the World Cup, right? He wants his situation resolved as soon as possible to be fully focused on the tournament. I don't think it will be at all. I think this is going to go into the transfer window. Real Madrid have discussed potential players inclusion scenarios with Camavinga, Garcia, Asensio, Ramon, among the names mentioned internally, although some options are considered very difficult to make it happen, right? Chelsea remain firm on the 120 million valuation and are currently not willing to lower their demands. But I've been saying this. However, they could be open to a package worth 80 to 90 million plus one or more high quality players if the overall proposal is considered suitable, right? Here's my thing. And I've been saying this for really the longest time here. Let me ahead and go this here. I've been saying this, bro, for the longest time. Give me a second. I've been saying this, bro. If Real Madrid come in with a package of 80 to 90 million plus add-ons, he's gone. I said this yesterday in my video. Yeah, Jordan Pickford, yeah. But give me a second. I'll get to your stuff in a second here. I've been saying this for the longest time, bro. 80 to 90 million plus add-ons will get the job done to send Enzo to Real Madrid. I saw something crazy yesterday saying that Federico Valverde would be included in a deal plus 20 million to send him to Chelsea and to send Enzo the other way. Real Madrid will be stupid as hell to do that. Federico Valverde, in my opinion, is one of the most underappreciated players in the world, bro. He is a great player, right? That's a straight swap. But Real Madrid would be downgrading. All right, bro. We'll see you in a second. Um, that would be a downgrade, in my opinion. I think Valverde is better than Enzo Fernandez, to be honest with you. For one, two, why would he want to be included in a deal like that? I've been saying this. We're talking about Camavinga, we're talking about Dean Howson, we're talking about Garcia and Valverde. Why aren't we inquiring about Rodrigo? Why aren't I understand he's injured, but why aren't we inquiring about him? We're so desperate to get a left winger. We're so desperate to have some type of quality on the wings. Why aren't we going after Rodrigo? Why aren't we inquiring about that in a possible swap for Enzo Fernandez? Why aren't we inquiring about that? I I don't understand it. Because Pickford is a good shout. I'm scared of us dropping down the league and players getting plucked. Yeah, it's it's like I keep saying, dude, and it's like I just mentioned. Chelsea's turning into a player factory, bro. Like, and that's not what this club should be. This club is supposed to be attracting the best players in the world, bro. But under this ownership, what top quality player is going to want to come in? None. I'm gonna peace out. We'll be back. All right, we'll see you in a second, brother. But again, speaking back on Enzo Fernandez, bro, I'm saying this now. I still think it's a 50-50 chance he stays because if the if the valuation that they're looking for isn't met or they don't or Real Madrid don't come in with 80 to 90 million and then like plus a player, which I think they would be overpaying to get him if you include any player in there, bro. Real Madrid, if they like the most Real Madrid should be paying for Enzo Fernandez in my, realistically is 90 million straight up. But if they come in with 80 million plus 10, you get the deal done, bro. But 120 million for this brother, and I love Enzo Fernandez. I think he's one of the better players and one of the more disrespected and underrated players, in my opinion. I think people are really sleeping on this brother, man. They're really sleeping on him, bro. Like, I don't think people really understand the loss that we'll have in this team if he actually leaves. And there's Chelsea fans out there on Twitter, YouTube that just don't rate the brother. I think you guys are on something if you think that we're going to find a capable replacement that this ownership is going to go get. If I'm selling him, the only player I'm going to go get is Bruno Guimaraes. That is the only player that I would replace Enzo Fernandez with right now. That's it. Even with Real Madrid offering players like Camavinga, right? I'm not biting on that. I'm just not. I wouldn't mind having him here because I think he can play in that 6 role that we're looking for. But again, if you're looking to replace him with a guy that can play as a creative player on top of being able to be a leader on the pitch, a vocal leader, he's physical, can take penalties, has a good shot on him, an excellent passing range. Bruno Guimaraes would be my pick to replace Enzo Fernandez with. But they're not going to go pay 80 million if they're going to get 80 to 85 million for that. They're just not. It's really dicey. It's really annoying because we all know what's coming in this transfer window and people need to tamper their expectations. I'm giving you guys what I would do. I'm not saying what the club is going to do because I know the club is not going to go out there and go get the quality we need to be better and to compete again. This is why if the appointment of Xabi Alonso goes south, it's not going to be his fault. It's not going to be his fault. It's going to be Blue Coats. It's going to be them. And it's always been them. It was never Enzo Maresca. It was never Pochettino. It was never even Graham Potter, bro. It was never him. It's been this ownership and the ineptitude that they've been showing for 4 years now. And now we're going into our 5th season with this ownership. At some point, they got to wake up, bro. I mean, I had a theory going back that they're going to be forced to sell over the summer because enough would have been enough. If they get off to a bad start next season and the players that they do bring in aren't good enough, I'm going to tell you this. I don't want to see a fucking protest. I can tell you that right now. I don't want to see a protest because you guys have had chances earlier on this past season to do it, but why didn't you guys do it? Because Chelsea were winning, right? They were in good form. All of a sudden, you go on the worst run since 1912. Oh, we need to schedule protests. We need to do it. Like, you should have been had protests scheduled. You should have been had this shit done. But you didn't do it because not a Project CFC is just as incompetent as Blueco when it comes to scheduling protests. And they said they gauged the interest of the fan. They gauged the mood of the fan. Chelsea fans are tired of this ownership, bro. And you guys still canceled the protest because Xabi Alonso and there's a glimmer of hope. This is why people like Johnny Minerals are calling you guys out. Bobby Fairview is calling you brothers out. Eunice is calling you guys out. You dropped the fucking ball with this. Matisse calling you guys out, bro. Goonie calling you guys out, bro, because you guys weren't serious about it. Now, the next protest that I assume will be scheduled, if there's no change in direction and what's going on here, no one's going to take that shit seriously. Baghdad Iqbali was laughing when he saw that the protest got canceled because he hired the manager that the fans wanted to see come in, right? Now he's here. What are you guys going to do then when this team has a bad run of form next season? Because every single team has a bad run of form throughout the season. Chelsea's was from middle of December to all the way until the end of the season. Where were the protests back in December, back in January, back in February? Where were those protests? March. Where were those protests? They weren't there. It's ridiculous, bro. Like, no one is going to take that shit seriously anymore. And I can get on my platform, not the biggest platform in the world, sure, but I'm still trying to voice my opinion down here because I find them to be absolute frauds, bro. I find that entire organization to be absolute frauds, bro. You guys had a chance to have protests even last season, the second season they were here. Nothing was going on. Don't be trying to schedule another protest here if you guys are going to say, like, there's a glimmer of hope that Xabi Alonso can turn shit around. Knock it off, bro. Knock it off. Because you guys should have been consistent with it and still had the in-stadium demonstration at that point. But you didn't do it because Xabi Alonso got hired. It's ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. But anyway, and like people can tell me if I'm crazy or not, bro. Like, I don't think I am. I think I'm being realistic with this. Like, I'm speaking my truth on this because I feel like they completely dropped the ball in this big time. No way there's still Chelsea fans sticking up for Enzo Maresca. Yes, Blueco, and clear like always the biggest problem. Does that mean we have to accept and manage our Chelsea sabotaging and walking out and leave? I mean, no, you're right on that part. I only stick up for Enzo Maresca, bro, because he got the team playing. But the way that he walked out, no, I think that was ridiculous, bro. I think that's been one of the most ridiculous ways to walk out. So I agree with you on that. Camavinga. See, this page right here, guys, has been very interesting over the past few weeks now. He's been posting a lot of stuff about Jared Bowen. Now he's posting about Camavinga. How would you guys feel about him coming to the club? Honestly, I wouldn't mind it. It's like I said, I wouldn't mind it. Alonso's decision to join Chelsea. Getting back to work, managing an elite level club in the Premier League, being the one who finally gets the Chelsea project consistently back on track, and we're still trying to figure out what this project is. Living in London, stylistic fit. He is excited about the current squad. He's enthused about the fact that Chelsea are going to back him in the transfer market. Really? Like I said, we'll see what happens, brother. This window, we Chelsea fans need an Orstein or Fabrice Hawkins out of nowhere bomba for an actual top player. We all did think Neto was a great signing last time this happened. No briefing or percentage meter or here we go, or monitoring or I mean, I think Pedro Neto honestly needs to get sold, bro. I think his time at the club is done. We all know he wants to join Real Madrid. Al Hilal or Al Athlete are in discussions with Morgan Gibbs White over a summer move. That would be insane, bro. Well, I don't know why he would make that move. I still feel like he has some shit to prove in the Premier League, bro. What kind of club, when they qualify for the Champions League and need improvements goals? I mean, it's Chelsea, bro. It's Blue Co.
If your child was coerced to share explicit content and is now in treatment, estimated compensation is between $50,000 and $300,000. For cases involving physical abuse or attempted assault by someone they met on the game, estimated compensation is between $300,000 and $1 million or more. You can file a payment anonymously in most states, and it only takes a couple minutes.
See, this is why I think the World Cup out here, guys, is such a mistake. Due to the recent heat waves, a climate central study has stated that 97 of the 104 World Cup games will be played in unfavorably hot conditions. This could lead to games having a slower pace. So, more water breaks, guys. That's what I'm saying. I live out here in the States. I'm not looking forward to seeing how hot it's going to really get, bro. Especially on the East Coast where like the humidity plays a factor and stuff. And then on the West Coast where there's a lot more dry heat out here, these players are going to be ran through the ringer, man. It's going to be really sad. Why does Mason Mount never get linked with a move away from the club? Because his wages are too high, bro. His wages are too high. I think he was on 250 a week. Now he's going to be making close to 300 grand a week because Manchester United are in the Champions League, bro. Morgan Rogers has said no to Arsenal. Yeah, okay, bro. I don't think he would say no. Neymar confirmed for the World Cup despite the injury and says he's keeping the number 10 shirt. Neymar should have never been selected, bro. João Pedro should absolutely be there. Brighton denied a 75 million bid for Carlos Baliba last season. He's currently valued at 40 million. Oh boy. See, I was speaking on the home jersey, bro. The away jersey this next season looks absolutely crisp, bro. This is a jersey I will be picking up for sure. Not on the mega store, though. Not on the mega store, I can tell you that. But this is a jersey that I will be definitely picking up next season. The home jersey, no. And the Elite third kit, I'll be picking up that one too. But not on the Mega Store. Do not buy any merchandise off the Mega Store, guys. Please don't. Don't. You can support your club. You can support Chelsea by buying their merchandise off third-party sources, bro. That's where I get all my jerseys from now. Is from third party, not from the actual store anymore. This is who I said we should go get, bro. Realistically, he's available for a decent fee. Oh, I'm going to touch on a bit of basketball here. So you got the NBA Finals tonight. The New York Knicks traveling down to San Antonio. Jalen Brunson versus Victor Wembanyama, bro. I'm going to say this. I got the Knicks in 7. Knicks in 7, guys. Saw a tweet on how a proper DM would unlock Caicedo. I've been saying this without tweeting it, bro. Get a proper defensive midfielder. Caicedo could push up a bit more. You're going to see Caicedo turn into one of the best midfielders in the world, bro. Honestly.
You're literally not even my best friend. Like you're like my sister. Like you're like not even on that level as best friend. Like you are like family. Like for real. Like
Were you friends with Sammy Abu?
With who?
Sammy Abu?
Abu?
Yeah, I think that's her last name.
In Italy, it's been reported Milan will let Rafael Leao go for 51 million at that price. Yes. For this price for this brother? Yes. I keep on saying this. This is the primary left wing target Chelsea should be going after. There's no excuse, bro. There's no excuse. For this fee, you go grab him. I wouldn't be worried about the left wing position for a long time if he comes to the club.
Okay, yeah, tell my mom that shit. That's weird as fuck. I knew I had a weird ass feeling about Rosie. That's weird.
Guys are saying he's overreacting. Are you a lot high? Look at the fuckery Clear Lake has been on for 4 years. Why do you think they would suddenly change it now? I was speaking on this when I was going over this video, bro. Like, he's not lying about anything. He's being honest about what is going on. He's not overreacting. He's keeping his expectations low. But to say the season's already over, I don't know about that part. But he's keeping the expectations low, bro. Because he already knows this ownership's not going to realistically do anything to improve this team. They'll sell players and pocket that money, bro. These clubs are keen. There are clubs keen on Romeo Lavia, but Chelsea want to keep him as things stand, and Tosin is valid for the leadership he provides to the group behind the scenes. Oh my god, dude. It's like Romeo Lavia has been broken since we gotten him, bro. And we bought him injured from Southampton. Enrique Riquelme, Barca and Real Madrid should help each other. I want Barca to be relegated. I want them to disappear. La Liga would become boring. I don't care. I hate Barcelona, man, just as much as Real Madrid fans hate them, honestly. Like, Barcelona is the team I hate the most in the sport. Then it's probably Arsenal and then Spurs. But Barcelona is the one team I just cannot stand, bro. But to say that you want them relegated, yeah, I don't know about that.
He texted me and was like, "Thank you for being there for my family. I appreciate it. Yada yada yada." I'm like, "Yeah." You can text him that I showed him how to sign up.
Chelsea are now favored to sign Jared Bowen from West Ham. I wouldn't mind this signing. I've seen a lot of people have some type of pushback on it. I wouldn't mind it. Caught myself thinking about the Mac Chelsea. What a time to be Chelsea. Yeah, bro. That was a great time. Honestly. I hate transfer windows. Everyone's crying all the time. I mean, sure. Well, because like we're just tired of the fucking incompetence, right? We're tired of the lies, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you guys be the one that's posting on your other friends' honestly? You should text her for like, honestly, think it's weird to be friends with Sammy and Sammy gonna like. Well, I was gonna get your permission to text him and be like, "Hey, like, what's going on with you and Sammy?"
Would you want any, bro? I've been saying this. If you're going after any player at Real Madrid, why are we not inquiring about Rodrigo? Keep on seeing people talk about Camavinga and all these other players, bro. It's like I don't understand that. We need wingers. Realistically, like I would go after him. That's just me though. But that being said, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here. I got to get ready for work. I appreciate everybody jumping in the stream, sending in their messages. Great engagement. Like I said, I do read the chat all the time. Even people on Twitter that watch, you guys don't have to be afraid to send me any kind of messages. I am on YouTube at No Filter Chelsea. If you want to jump over and ask me things, I don't mind answering that as well. But I'm just gonna say this. There's a lot of skepticism about what we're gonna do in the transfer window. People are right to be skeptical. And we shouldn't be getting upset that people are, saying like, oh, our expectations should be on the floor. They should absolutely be on the floor. But I've also given you guys what I would do if I'm sitting here running the club, who I would go and get. I'm not saying these players, this ownership isn't going to go grab these players, but realistically, the players I mentioned, a Bastoni, a Marquinhos, Rafael Leao, Camavinga, Rodrigo, Mike Mignon, these are the kind of players I would go and get to reestablish this club to get back to the top. But we all know that this ownership is not going to go do that. So, with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. I got to get ready for work. Drop a like, share this stream, get your comments in, do all that. Do I remember you? Not really. I don't want to sound mean or anything, but I don't remember you at all, honestly. But I should be back on stream probably on my lunch or something. Maybe not. But tomorrow for sure in the morning, I should be on stream going over more of what I've seen throughout the day. And usually when I wake up in the morning, there's a lot of news that happens overnight because I live 8 hours. There's an 8 hour time difference between here and London. So usually I see all my news in the morning, and it's why I'm able to do the morning streams. But drop a like, comment, share this stream. I will also post this on the bottom for you guys to follow me on Twitter. Follow me on sub to my YouTube. Follow me on Twitch. All that stuff, man. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll let you guys know if I'm going to stream at around 3 o'clock.